Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our RingPartner pay-per-call mobile search webinar. My name is Kevin Walski. I'm part of the distribution team here at RingPartner, and I'll be the moderator today. You all know RingPartner's focus is on pay-per-call. For that reason, we are the industry leaders and continue to bring new and exciting opportunities. This is the first in our pay-per-call training series. Be sure to look out more. Every couple months we'll be coming out with a new training session. Joining us on the panel today are John Bellevue and Mike Williams. John is our go-to guy when it comes to anything in the distribution side of things. He understands the space like no other and will help you find those niches to help you grow. Mike is the network manager at RingPartner. Mike knows all facets of the industry and is the key for making sure the network runs smoothly. Today's session will be broken up into two areas. First, John will be discussing the basics of picking the right campaign for mobile search, and then Mike will come in and explain how to use the best practices for setting up a campaign with AdWords. Feel free to ask any questions during the presentation, and I'll be answering some questions as they come in. And we also have a 5-minute Q&A session after each session. We are recording this, so and we'll be posting it later this week on our blog at ringpartner.com/blog. So be sure to check that out. John, I'd like to pass it over to you, and you can get started.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Yeah, so I just wanted to go over some basic points to keep in mind when you're looking to pick a campaign to get started before Mike shows you how to set them up. The first thing I'd want to suggest is talk to your account rep first. I mean, besides being able to tell you the top offers, they have a ton of insight into how campaigns are performing on a deeper level. So don't just ask them about top offers. Ask them maybe on what their suggestions are on maybe a hidden gem or kind of what the next thing is going to be. Besides offers, they have suggestions and tips for traffic sources, keywords, ad groups, ad text, and then landing page optimization. So there's a lot of info there. Another great thing is they might have access to private offers that you can only get through them, and you won't have access to those unless you keep in communication. Another good point is they usually have data that will let you know if a vertical is saturated or maybe it's untapped, if it has potential. Maybe there were people making a lot of money there 2 months ago, it got saturated and everybody dropped off, and they know that it's there just waiting to be exploited again. So when you first log into the the RingPartner system, you get to your switchboard account, and then to view campaigns, you just want to click on the All Campaigns button, which will take you to Invoca, which is our back-end tracking platform. When you first get in there, you are going to see where all of your campaigns that you're currently approved for are. So I'll just bring that up. Back. Sorry, 1 second here. All right, let's try this again. Yeah, so you click on the All Campaigns button, and it's going to open Invoca, which is our back-end tracking platform. When you first get in there, this is where you'll see basic stats. All the campaigns you're currently approved for would be in this list here, and then to find a new campaign, you click Apply to New Campaigns. In here, you're going to see everything that we have public in various niches. You're going to have legal, auto insurance, financial, home services, hotels and travel, weight loss. I mean, there's just a bunch of stuff to go through, which can be a little bit daunting. But, as I said, first thing, talk to your account rep and then look at a couple of these points. First thing that you want to consider is the niche that you pick or the vertical. So, whether it be home services, home security, dating, you want something that you feel good about, something that you feel you can, research and build a keyword list around. You're looking for something that has a balance of search volume, but also can be highly targeted with keywords and ad groups so that you get the right clicks. Working with high volume niches can be great, but you have to be careful because you can quickly burn through your test budget without gathering the data that you need. Another thing is low volume niches aren't always a bad thing. You see maybe a vertical that doesn't have a ton of search volume out there, but if the payout's right and the conversion rate makes sense, you can still make some good money with those lower volume niches. Another great thing is they're often overlooked by publishers, which makes them a great point of entry. Another stat, so if we just scroll up here, you'll see some of the categories, and then you'll see a 7-day EPC. On CPA networks, this is an estimated payout per click. With pay-per-call, it's an estimated payout per 100 calls. So to get a true EPC, you want to divide that by 100. And you'll see a lot of them say new. This doesn't necessarily mean they're new. This stat is generated over a 7-day period, so it needs data, it needs calls, it needs conversions to be generated, and it needs a good amount of data to be generated. EPC can be affected by many things. One publisher running a lot of volume with little conversions can really skew it. So you shouldn't use the number as a guarantee or something you should really put a lot of stock into. But it is something that lets you know there are people running this campaign and running it consistently. Another thing that is very important is how the campaign converts. So talk to your account rep and get an idea of what the conversion rate is like. You can get a network-wide conversion rate, but again, like EPC, this can be highly affected by one high-quality publisher or one publisher that's sending a lot of lower-quality traffic. So ask them for a realistic conversion rate for search traffic, something to aim for. It's one of the most important stats, I think. You know, as long as the campaign converts right, then you know, you should be able to make it work. If you initially test and the conversion rate is lower than you've been told or what you expected, don't always blame the offer, because that's one thing that a lot of people will do. It might be the angle that you're trying to go after. You know, there are various things involved, so it might just be a matter of a little bit more testing. The final thing I would suggest, obviously looking at, which is an important one, is the payout. Payout can be very important, but not, you know, having a high payout isn't as important as you would think. With some lower payout campaigns, if the traffic is affordable and there's a lot of it, you can make a lot of money with, you know, say a $1.50 payout. But you'll see campaigns with payouts upwards of $100. But if that traffic is expensive or it's not converting as well as you'd hope, you might have a difficult time making it work. And not only that, you might have a lot of money burned just to gather enough data to try to optimize it. So don't discount an offer just because you see a lower payout, and don't assume it's going to be a winner, or don't pick it based on a higher payout. So once you've looked through, you know, you've considered all those factors, and you want to choose a few campaigns maybe to research and do some competitive analysis on. You know, first thing I would suggest doing is clicking in and just getting the basic details of the campaign. So I'm going to choose live links in this case. Now, it'll give you a basic description. Sometimes it'll give you more information. The promotion guidelines will be here, so they don't want you using call promotions on this particular campaign, and no branded search, which means they don't want your ad showing up on their branded keywords. But you know, in most cases, that's not where the volume is. You know, you're looking for something a little bit more unique than that. Then you know, you see the hours, you see the regions, you see the payout. You get all of the basic information. So once you've, you know, crossed off all the factors I discussed, you know, you think the hours and everything look good. You know, the next step is just to put in your promotion methods and then apply to the campaign. One other thing that I would suggest, I did mention competitive analysis. Using a tool like Keyword Spy or SpyFu or something similar can be really beneficial when picking a campaign. So I'm just going to use Keyword Spy as an example. They let you do a basic search with some information without an account. It's not overly expensive, and it's great for not only you know, just gauging how expensive a vertical or a niche is going to be, but it's going to help you build your keyword list and do competitive research. It's very valuable, so something worth looking into. But yeah, so as an example, I came to Keyword Spy. Under keywords, I put in something really generic, find a girlfriend, and it gives me how many advertisers are bidding on that keyword, what the average cost per click or expected cost per click would be, monthly search volume. You know, these aren't going to be exact stats, but they're something that you can, you know, go off of. It also gives you a bunch of related keywords, which can kind of help you start trailing down and finding better ideas. It gives you ad copy ideas. It tells you who some of your top competitors are going to be. You know, you can find hundreds of thousands of keywords in certain verticals with a bit of research, and you get to see what's already working out there. So it's extremely valuable. So I think once once you've had a good chat with your account rep and you picked a vertical you think you're going to be successful with, checked a couple of the stats, like the EPC and conversion rate and payout. Put it in here. Start to see what the volume is going to be like. Start to see what the competition is going to be like, and I think you have enough there to make a good decision on getting started.
Great, thanks very much, John. Yeah, we have a couple questions that came up here. One is, they noticed that there was a bunch of different offers. I understand dating on mobile, but what about like carpet? Why would you be searching for carpets or flooring on your phone?
It's just an inherent natural search. I mean, if you're renovating a new house you just purchased, or having to replace the carpet in a rental property, maybe you had pets or a spill or something like that. Going to your phone these days is just something you do naturally, and clicking to make that call for a service like that makes more sense than filling out a form online. You just want to talk to somebody, get a quote, hopefully book an appointment or whatever it happens to be. But it's all about finding the reason to make that call and building your campaign around that.
Great. Another couple questions in regards to information. Instead of talking to your account rep, and then even on the application page, there's information on how you're promoting it. What about information sharing? People are scared of sharing information with you that you're going to be able to share that with everyone else, and then they're going to lose that angle. How does that work?
Sharing somebody's information with somebody else generally is just going to cannibalize what you're doing. You're taking away somebody's success to give it to somebody else. Doesn't help you as an account rep or whoever you're dealing with in any way. Their whole purpose is to make you successful, because in the end that makes them successful. And I mean, this industry is and especially like in that type of position as an account rep, you need trust, because you can't help somebody succeed if they don't trust you and aren't willing to share that information with you. And if you can't help them succeed, you're not going to be good at your job.
Okay, great. Well, I think that's good for that. We can do some more questions at the end of the presentation. But yeah, no, obviously there's never a silver bullet to finding that perfect campaign, but that definitely helps narrow us down. So now that you know what campaign you want to run, we need to generate those calls for it. So I'm going to pass it over now to Mike Williams, who's going to be talking about actually setting up a campaign using AdWords.
Great, thanks Kev and John for the intro to setting up or getting started with a pay-per-call campaign. So what we're actually going to go over now is how to create your first AdWords campaign. So what I've got open here, what you should see on your screen, is basically it's just a demo account that I set up. This is for creating your first campaign. And so I'm going to go through step by step with AdWords for the first campaign. And I just want you to know that this isn't typically how you would set up a campaign. You really want to get into creating campaigns using the bulk AdWords editor to set up your campaigns. But this is a good walkthrough to give you a good intro to getting started and getting set up with your first pay-per-call campaign. So we'll just click on the Create First Campaign. This is just a dummy account, so we'll go through the steps. So for step one, I mean, you can just give your campaign a name. So we're going to go through a live links introduction here. Live links is a good campaign. It's a good starter campaign. It's a good gateway drug into pay-per-call. It's something that you get. It's a campaign that you get a lot of conversions, although they're low. The payout is low. It converts really, really well, and it's a really call-driven business. So the conversion being a call really makes sense. So it's a good place for pay-per-call publishers to start. So we'll go through that. So we want to choose search network only. So we don't want to be on the display network at all. We want to be on the search network. We're targeting searchers here, and we're going to use pay-per-call ad extensions to drive these calls. So you also want to enable all features. When you're setting up a campaign in AdWords Editor, you won't see some of these. They'll already be pre-selected. But you want to make sure you're using all features, because that's going to allow you to have access to the ad extensions, including the call extensions. So just scrolling down, one of the first things you'll see is this Google Search Network. You want to uncheck include search partners. A lot of those search partners may or may not have call extensions. So you want to take those out of the playing field and focus on Google search because you know that they have call extensions. You can't adjust devices. This is one of Google's new enhanced features. So I'll get into how to target more mobile clicks a little later on. So you can choose your region. We'll add the United States, and you can also go into advanced search here, and you can bulk upload zips or states if you're going to get into some deeper targeting. And another key setting to make sure that you have on your campaign is you want to make sure that you're targeting people in your targeted location. The conversion isn't going to happen if a caller calls an offer that's targeting New York if the person is in, say, California, and that's not an accepted traffic source on the campaign in Boca in RingPartner. So you want to make sure that you're targeting people in your location. So if someone searches for hotels in New York, but they're in California, you really want them to be in New York searching for that, say it's a hotel. Going down a little lower, I prefer to set the bids manually. I don't want Google to do my bidding at this point. So I manually set the bids for clicks, and I'm going to determine what my default bid is going to be. Later on, you may want to explore enhanced CPCs or possibly consider using the CPA optimizer. But Google's tracking for calls is less than perfect for sure, so I would kind of steer clear of that at this time. So if we assume that the payout on live links is around $2, you can start high and you could bid like 50 cents, or you could start low and scale up until you get some traffic. There's different schools of thought on which works best. I'm just going to say 10% of the payout, and I'm just going to throw in 20 cents. I believe that's 10%. And I really like to keep my budgets low to start because, especially with this campaign, you're going to get a lot of conversions, even at something like $25 per day. And you don't need to spend a ton to learn what's going to work. So you may as well keep it low. There's no point in spending $100 just to lose a bunch of money when you could have got the same result with $25. Delivery method, I prefer to use accelerated. I just find that I get results a little faster and can optimize quicker with the campaign when I just set it to accelerated. We'll skip over this ad extensions information at this time, but that's definitely a key part of setting up your campaign, and we'll go over that a little bit later. And you can go through and set your custom schedules, but I'll also go over that once this campaign is created. So at this point, we're just going to save and continue. And so because we're just creating a campaign in the Google AdWords web editor here, it's asking for our first ad text. It's going to ask for some keywords. So we're just going to put some basic information in here. So it's good to ask a question. So you could throw in something like meet local singles, question mark. And ideally, you'd want to use all of the spaces that Google allows for. So I've got 6 characters left. An ideal text ad would use all of these characters, and that's the best practices. I'm using title case as well. That's known to be provide better click-through rates. So we use title case throughout. We're asking a question, and then we want to start to get users in the mode to call. So, call now and meet someone. And then we can just say chat line, sorry. I know I'm repeating myself over and over here with call, but that's okay because that's really the action you want the user to take. Call, sorry, and chat now. exclamation point. Ideally, you would use all of the characters, but we're just running through some dummy text here. And the display URL is another opportunity to also add in some text or creative. So you can put at the start, you can do like a subdomain, chat.ringpartner.com, or you can add it at the end and you can say something like call now. I don't think you can do both. You can do one or the other. But it's another opportunity to place a call to action or a keyword that's relevant to your ad group within the ad text. And then as we scroll down, we can, oh, I'm frozen. Okay, so we can add some keywords. So we just put in like free trial chat, chat line, call, chat. I'm just throwing in some dummy keywords here. So we just add some keywords. We've got our default bid, which is set to 20 cents. And we'll just move ahead. Whoops, didn't want to continue billing.
Just as we're waiting here, Mike, I have a question about can we direct link in AdWords?
You can direct link. Google is okay with you creating a landing page that sends to a phone number. You don't want to link to an external URL because that's a thin affiliate in their mind. So you can create a landing page, put the phone number on the page, but all of the links that are on that page should link to the same domain. So direct link to the call, not to the actual link. Sorry, I'm just going to have to put in some keywords again. So we'll just move on. I didn't like something. So now we've got an active campaign with an active ad group with keywords, and we've also got an ad text in there. So at this point, what I want to show you is how to target mobile phones over desktop traffic. So one of the most important things to get set up correctly is the device bid. So in your campaign settings, you'll see this sub-tab here, all settings, locations, ad schedule, and devices. And we'll just kind of walk through that right now. So locations obviously is important. You want to make sure you're targeting the right states, right countries, or right zip codes. So you want to make sure that's correct because the campaign setup in RingPartner will only convert if they're coming from those regions. So you don't want to be spending your budget on states or targets that you can't make money with. Another key one is the ad scheduling, sometimes called day parting. And so in Google, you can just go in and you can create an ad schedule, and so you can create your custom schedule. You could set your choose Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Just make sure that you're checking your time zones because your time zone in your AdWords account may be different than your time zone in RingPartner. So make sure that you're adjusting for that so that you're only running the campaign during the active hours. And then this is the key to getting mobile clicks is this devices tab. So you can see Google groups them into 3 different types of devices. There's computers, mobile devices with full browsers, and tablets with full browsers. And so you want to set this bid adjustment to plus 300%, and that's a plus, not a times. So they show the example here, a $10 bid will become $40. So we'll just save that. So that's going to help us target mobile clicks only. And so you want to, when you're setting your bid, so we've set our bid at 20 cents, we want to make sure that we've set, so the actual bid is going to be 20 cents plus 300%. So that's we're actually bidding 80 cents. So you want to factor that in, and that's going to be important to consider when we get to a little bit of optimization. So you got to remember that you're not bidding 20 cents. You're going to expect to get some clicks that cost more than 20 cents. So you're actually bidding 80 cents. So that's important to keep in mind. And then the other key strategy and tactic that works really well, since I started using this new tactic, I'm getting like 90 to 99% mobile clicks only, and that's to set up a bland or crappy ad in each ad group. So each ad group should have a mobile targeted, mobile preferred ad text, and each ad group should have basically a crappy ad. And so we're going to edit each of these. We've got 2 ad texts in here, so we're going to edit each of these. Oh, they're in separate ad groups. So I'm going to go into the ad group. So we'll just use ad group 1. And we'll go to the ad. And so we're going to take this ad group, and since this is an okay creative, it's, you know, we've got everything in here. We're asking a question, we're using an exclamation, we've got the call to action in the display URL. So we're going to check this mobile button, and it's going to give you a preview on the right here that shows you that that's what it's going to look like on a mobile phone. And something to consider is that if you add the exclamation point in the description line 1, it doesn't actually show up in the mobile creative. So it will show up on the bottom on the second description line, but it doesn't show up on the first. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you're adding exclamation points, usually they do help click-through rate, but you want to add them in the second line. And you want to make better use of this space too, right? We've got a ton of characters remaining there, so ideally you would use that up. And again, on the display URL, use up those character limits, use title case, and try some dashes, add in some numbers. These are all good practices for creating good click-through rate ads. So we'll save that, and then we're going to make a bland or boring ad. And basically what you're going to do is go against all the best practices we just talked about. So you're going to create a text ad. You don't want any call to actions. You don't want to use the good keywords like get or your or call now. You want to use some really, really basic terms in here. So this is a dating site. Speak with single people. And you can throw in an odd comma here and there. It just helps to create a boring, basically crappy ad, and I'll talk a little bit more about why we're doing that. Talk with other people. So you really want this to be boring. Don't use all the characters. Keep it in lowercase. Don't use all the display URL characters. And the reason we're doing this is because we don't want this ad to get clicked. So you're going to check device preference is non-mobile, and so that's going to target all devices. And so what happens is Google chooses this ad to show up on the desktop, and it's going to perform terribly. You're going to be in 7-8 position. You're not going to get any clicks. You're going to get low click-through rate, but it's the desktop preferred ad. So you're basically going to force the other ad to show up a lot more on mobile, but when it comes to desktop, your ad's not going to get preference because it's a poor performer. And so that's a really good technique, and it works really well. I don't know what the long-term effects of it are, but it definitely works well to get those mobile targeted clicks. All right, so that is really how to get mobile clicks. And then what I'm going to discuss now is we're going to go over the ad extensions, and the focus here is the call extension.
Mike, can I just jump in for a moment? We have a couple questions in regards to this section. One would be here, let me just find a couple for you. Why are we targeting only mobile callers? Do desktop callers not use the number on the landing page?
So, I mean, that's the heading of the webinar today is mobile search, and so that's what we're focusing on here is mobile search. It's not to say that desktop clicks or other forms of traffic don't work. But the goal here really is to get users who are searching on their mobile phones to click to call. And this is where a lot of the growth is happening in pay-per-call right now, is the fact that there's mobile smartphone adoption across the board is leading to more tap-to-call, click-to-call advertisements, and more users are engaging with it. So we're looking to take advantage of the mobile search side of things. You can definitely make this work with desktop traffic, and your landing page would be important in that case, and they definitely do click-to-call from the phone. But I think having that barrier of being on a desktop and seeing the phone number and then having to pick up your phone is just enough that it doesn't convert as well as the mobile clicks do.
Okay, and then on this, are you saying that, another question, that you can use their own landing page but not the affiliate page offer? Why would you use your own landing page?
The goal behind the landing page, and I'll get into that a little bit later on, is it's not there to drive calls to, because ideally your calls are going to go through the call extension, and in that case the IVR becomes your landing page. So the landing page is important to ensure that you've got the right keywords on there, you've got relevant text and keywords placed on that page to keep Google happy, to improve your quality score, to reduce the cost of your clicks.
Great, thanks, Mick.
Cool. So now we'll go over the ad extensions, and this is what kind of covers the gap between users having to pick up their phone and dial a phone number. The call extension makes it a real seamless process. So when someone's searching on their phone, they can click on a button to directly connect the call. And something you'll notice about these stats is that you're going to see clicks in Google AdWords, and you're not going to see the same amount of calls in RingPartner reporting. And that's because a click does not equal a call. A click prompts the call. So when they click to call auto insurance or live links, it's going to prompt on their phone, and then they're going to have to press again to connect that call. So when you're creating an ad extension, you're going to click this button here. Oops, we're in site links. So you want to make sure you're in call extensions, and then you're going to add a call extension here. Yes, sorry. And then we're going to add a new phone number. And so some key things to note in here. If you're in Canada or you're in outside of the United States, you can select the United States phone number. You're going to use a Google forwarding number for call reporting, and what that's going to allow you to do is to record the duration. So if you don't want to do that, that's fine. You can just use a regular phone number, but I suggest using the Google forwarding number. You want to make sure that this is checked, just the phone number, because our goal here is to drive clicks to calls from these ads. So you want the phone number, and that's going to allow the text ad, whether it's clicked on the text or clicked on the call button, is going to connect to the phone number. And then you can see here we've got conversions, and I think this is about 60 to 75% accurate tracking calls. I haven't seen much better than that, and so that's why I wouldn't 100% rely on Google's tracking, but it gives you a good idea of where those conversions are coming from. So you're going to count calls as phone call conversions when they last longer than, and this is where you want to look at your campaign. So we'll go over to RingPartner. We'll take a look at some of the campaigns. And we're going to go into live links. And this is where you want to take a look at, what is the conversion duration? So where does that conversion happen? So the conversion happens at, sorry, it's here. So it happens at 2 minutes. So in seconds, that's 120 seconds. Right? And then we're going to want to go in, back to the campaign, and we're going to grab our promo phone number. And so we can just, we can take any one of these. Yeah, so we'll just add a new one. So you want to select the type. This isn't, it's not imperative that you label this correctly, but the description is, so if you're going to name it after an ad group or a campaign, you want to make sure you get that correct because that's what's going to show up in the reporting. So we'll just call it Live Links AdWords, and there's our phone number that we can use. And just a little tip on phone numbers. Each of our RingPartner campaigns is set up to default to give you 10 phone numbers. If you need more than that, definitely reach out to your distribution manager and they can help you get more if needed, or we can talk about ring pools. And ring pools we're going to discuss in a webinar coming up on the next couple weeks as well. So we'll copy this. We're going to go back to the ad extension and place the number in the call extension and then hit save. So now the phone number is in there. We'll just hit save. And then now that is our ad group call extension. I believe I set this at the campaign level. So I just want to make sure that I'm setting this campaign call. So I didn't set that at the campaign level. So you want to set these extensions up at the campaign level to start. And then as you start seeing conversions come in, you can consider using another phone number for each ad group. So we've got an ad group extension here, and then you can also see campaign extensions there. Ideally, you would add the phone number in this at the campaign level, and then that's going to give you stats across the board in your campaign. You can use, a different phone number per ad group, but I'll get into. You'll see in a little bit why I use one phone number per campaign. So I'm gonna start talking about keyword research. I don't know if there any questions, Kev?
Yeah, actually we can talk about a couple here. One was heard that for WAP campaigns you don't need a landing page or a site.
Yeah, I'm not overly familiar with WAP traffic. That could be true. I haven't really played around with it, so I couldn't really answer that effectively.
Okay, great. And then just a question here about device preference, mentioning that mobile should be checked.
We can go in. Oh, device preference on the call extension, maybe. I haven't. I assume that's what they're talking about.
Yes,
you can check that, but I don't think it's going to matter because all of our traffic is going to come from mobile anyway. So when it comes to a desktop ad, I assume that. Yeah, so we're showing this extension on all devices. I'm not sure what would happen on a desktop, but again, because we're getting 90 to 90% mobile clicks, I don't think it's imperative to check that mobile devices. I haven't played around with it. I see it there, but I don't think it's going to affect the overall results. And on most of the campaigns that I'm running, of the say 2,000 clicks on the campaign, at least almost 2,000 of those end up going through the call extension.
Okay, great. What is the typical drop rate of an AdWords call extension clicks versus what shows up in the RingPartner reporting?
That's going to depend campaign to campaign, and it's going to depend on the interest of the users if they were expecting that prompt to come up when they clicked on the ad. I would just kind of rough guesstimate around 20% drop off. I don't have any hard facts on that.
All right, let's continue. Thanks.
Okay, so when you're doing keyword research, there's some really powerful tools even just in Google. I'm sure many people are familiar with the keyword planner, and it is a great tool, but I want to recommend that you don't start there. So this is great for a lot of high-level keywords. If you just want to put in something simple, you put in like dating or chat line, and that's going to give you, it's definitely going to suggest some keywords, but as publishers, as affiliates, you need to attack niches. You need to find longer tail keywords. And so you can see some of the keyword ideas that Google suggested: dating, chat line, one word keywords, free dating, dating sites. These are pretty standard. They're going to be high competition. The bids are going to be high. But as affiliates, you need to position yourself so that you can get cheaper clicks. And so you need to find niches. And you need to be further down the long tail, and not just down the long tail in terms of how many keyword phrases you have. So if you have a 5 keyword phrase, that's good, but I don't think that mobile searchers are going to search that far down. So you need to start looking for niche markets. So what dating niches are there that you can bid on and basically win that category. So there's a couple tools that I like to use to start, and these are just ways to get ideas for campaigns or for keywords. So Uber Suggest, which you've probably heard of, it combines all of the suggested search terms that Google recommends when you do a search on Google. So if we just put in something like dating, and we'll put in the CAPTCHA here. I think I got it. And it's going to show you a bunch of terms. And the goal here is to find different categories, different niches. I mean, here's an idea on the ad over here: fit singles. So what niches can you go after? Recently divorced singles, divas. Divorce comes up a couple times, so that might be an area you want to explore. An older man, married. You might want to stay away from that if you have ethical issues around that. But you can go in here and find some different categories. Black women. So there's a lot of different niches that are going to be exposed by this, and you want to dig a little deeper, right? Dating for hippies, dating for introverts. How can you attack those categories and find traffic and dominate that niche and get super cheap clicks? Dating by age, or different races that you could target. And so what you're doing here, you're not necessarily looking to take these and use them as keywords. You're looking to come up with a search term that you can put into the Google Keyword Planner that's going to suggest even more keywords. Another tool that I've recently found is Soolv. I'm not sure how to say it, but it also provides a number of different searches. That's not finding it. See if we can find the site. There we go. So, and then what you can do is it's going to suggest a bunch of different results from a bunch of different places. So just put in something like dating, and you can see, dating sites, plenty of fish, all the different results that can potentially come up for a certain term. So let's throw in like auto insurance, and it's just giving you new ideas for how to create your campaign and find a niche. And like I said, try to dominate that niche. And so what you can do is take some of those keywords back to the Google Keyword Tool and put in some different terms in there. So let's just try. Oops. Okay, so we can just try some different terms. So let's try fitness singles, black dating, and I'm just throwing in some terms here just to give you an idea. So ideally you would search one of these terms at a time, but we'll just go and throw those in there, and Google's going to come up with a bunch of suggestions for different niches that you could then go after. So fitness singles, and you can see the bids are a little bit lower. Competition, is kind of all over the board. But don't be discouraged by the competition once you find the niche market you want to go after. Sometimes it'll say hi and it'll, you know, say some ridiculous bid, but once you put that into your campaign and actually try it out, it could work really well. And ultimately, all you're after is making it work, so don't be discouraged by the results that you get. So once we've got kind of an idea of what to go after, that's when I go into Excel and I start to look at how to combine these keywords. I'm just going to find Excel. And so I usually take a couple of keyword phrases and put them together and start to mash them up. So we're talking about a chat line, chat space line, free chat. And then you can put in some modifying keywords. So in NYC, near me, local. And then you can just throw in some other modifying terms that will help to extend your keywords. Oops. And so I'm just throwing in some keywords. This definitely doesn't mean these are good keywords to use, but what you want to do is I'm showing you the technique behind combining these keywords to extend a smaller niche into a really targeted, higher traffic campaign. So you want to take these keywords and then fire up a tool like Keyword Extend. So keywordextend.com, and you're just going to take those keywords and place them in the combining tool. And then this is going to take a couple keywords and really extend them out into a much higher number of keywords. So we'll just combine those, and then now we've got a group of keywords that we can utilize to start building our campaign. And the nice thing about this too is depending on how you want to set up your campaign, you can see that it's already started to sort it into ad groups. So this could be our call chat line ad group. This is our call free ad group. This is our find free. So you can start to name those ad groups. But when I set up campaigns, the way I'm doing it right now is I'm setting up one keyword per ad group. So I would give the campaign a name. And this is the start of creating your AdWords editor template. So I'll just put some headers in place here. So this is your campaign name. This is going to be your ad group. This is going to be your keyword, and then this is going to be the match type. So this is a campaign name, and then, like I said, I like to use the broad match modifier. So you're going to replace every space in this field here. Everything that's a space, you want to replace it with a space plus. So that's now the name of your ad group. And then in the keyword, use this little Excel function equals quotations plus ampersand and the keyword, and then hit enter. And then what that does is creates the broad match modifying term. So that a broad match modifier, it has a plus placed in front of each keyword. And so what this does is creates a targeted keyword, yet it allows for different search results. So you can look through your search terms later on and see what terms actually drove the call. So just double click on the corner here, and now we've created a bunch of keywords, one per ad group. And so then we just put the match type as broad. Oops. So double click, and we're done. And then we can take this and start to create our campaign in AdWords. So we'll just copy it, and we'll fire up AdWords Editor. And this is a really valuable tool. You want to be using AdWords Editor. If you're not using AdWords Editor, straight up, you're not doing it right. So get used to using this tool and utilize it to create some massive campaigns with a ton of keywords, and it's much easier to manage your campaign setup. So now that we've grabbed that group of keywords, in order to create a new campaign, I'm going to go into the Keywords tab, make sure you're in the positives, and add multiple keywords. And you want to make sure that this is checked as well. My keyword information below includes columns for campaign and ad group names, because we've got the campaign name, ad group, keyword, and the match type. So we could preview that, campaign, ad group, keyword, match type process. And so that's starting to create our campaign. And you can see how quickly you can pull together a campaign with massive keywords that's hyper-targeted, and using that broad match modifier really allows you to create relevant campaigns that Google is going to appreciate, and allows you some room to find other terms, because that's the key too, is once you've created a campaign in a niche, you're going to find sub-niches and other niches outside of that. So the other part to this obviously is setting up your campaign. You're going to want to set your budget and go through all those steps we went through at the start, mobile bid adjustment, these sorts of things. And then you can also quickly add a bunch of text ads as well. So another key thing that I didn't really touch on was these negative keywords. And so when we use those tools like Solve and Uber Suggest, look through those and find terms that you know are not relevant. And again, use your search term results page in order to figure out which keywords you don't want to be advertising on. And I almost guarantee that you're going to find some terms in there that you're getting clicks on that you don't really want to be advertising on. You don't want to pay for keywords that can't convert. So before I move on to talking about a little bit of campaign optimization and the landing pages, I just want to see if there's any questions of this.
Yeah, I want to hear about how do you target just for the mobile, like the mobile devices, like to making sure again that it's just on the mobile.
Yeah, it's imperative that you make sure you've got that bid adjustment set. So that's in your settings, and it's under devices. And so you want to set that 300%. Make sure that this is set, and check to make sure, because it's a plus 300%. So you want to figure out what your actual bid will be. And then the other thing that really drives that mobile click is that bland, boring ad as well. So make sure you've got those two things set. And then another thing just to keep in mind is you can set these bid adjustments at locations, at ads, at your ad schedule. So you want to be careful that you're not plus 900% on a campaign. So if you know that there's a state that works and you've increased that bid by modifying the bid adjustment for the location, I believe that it will combine all three of them, and you can end up paying significantly more. So be careful of that.
A couple questions. Why did you have the ad group number 2?
Those are just the standard Google names when you create them. I definitely don't use those names. I use names that make sense or match the. I would make wherever you have a phone number, make that match the description in RingPartner. So if it's live links, AdWords, that would likely be my campaign name. If I had ad groups underneath that, I would call them live links, ad group 1, or whatever the chat keyword that's related would be.
Right. And then with that low bid on the desktop, I'm assuming you still see some clicks from time to time?
You do. It works surprisingly well. I've found that it depends on the campaign. So certain campaigns are a little more driven by desktop depending on the user. But like I said, I get almost 90 to 90% mobile bids or mobile clicks. So you do see the odd one here. You see the odd desktop and tablet click, but the majority of them are mobile clicks.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Mike.
Cool. All right, so just going to go over campaign optimization a little bit. And so before you get started with optimizing a campaign, you want to make sure that you have a significant amount of data. And I don't have specific numbers around that. That's something that you kind of have to determine. You could say it's, after 1,000 clicks, I'll take a look. But some of these campaigns, you may not see the exact amount of clicks coming through. So you really want to make sure you run your campaign for a decent amount of time. The reason, again, why I like live links is you're really likely to see those conversions, so it's a good place to start. So you're going to have some data to work from. So what I would do, and we'll just do it from the campaign level here, I would come in and I would run a report, say it's last 7 days, and I would take a look, and you'd see some data in here. You'd see the clicks, impressions, click-through rate. And so what I'm really after is how much did I pay per click. And so it's going to what's going to determine your bid is going to be your EPC. So you'll figure out, if I had 1,000 clicks, how many conversions did I get? And we're not looking at conversions in AdWords because I don't feel that that's accurate. We're looking in RingPartner. So we've got an account here with some data in there. So if we had 1,000 clicks, we see that we earned $624. I'll just fire up my calculator and do some quick math. So $624 divided by 1,000 clicks tells me that we're earning about 62 cents per click. So now we can go back to Google and figure out if that 20-cent bid plus 300%, which puts us at 80 cents, does that still make sense, or do we need to lower it? And the thing to keep in mind is that just because you're bidding 20 cents, which is actually 80 cents, doesn't mean you're paying 80 cents. You need to look at what your actual cost per click is, because there's a discount based on your performance and your quality score. And we could get into that further on another webinar probably. So you want to factor in all of those things, but what determines how much you can spend is that earnings per click. So we're really just basing it off of how much did we earn and how many clicks did we get, and then how much did we pay for those clicks, and try to work out your margin from there. So again, EPC is important, and keep in mind improving your click-through rate and quality score. If you can keep Google happy and keep the cost of your clicks down and earn enough that you're making money in your RingPartner reporting, then you don't need to be overly concerned with which keywords are actually driving those conversions, because there are assist keywords that actually help the overall performance of your campaign, and they may be break even or at a slight loss, but because they're carrying the performance of the campaign and improving the quality score, they're helping you keep your costs down. So keep those things in mind, and don't think that every keyword in your campaign has to be a 100% converter. As long as the campaign is making money and you can scale it up or down, you're kind of good to go on that. So aim to keep Google happy and make sure that you're happy with the results in your RingPartner reporting, and you should be good to go. And I just want to mention again that I don't trust Google's tracking 100%. It definitely gives me an idea of where those conversions are happening, but it's not 100% accurate. And just before we kind of wrap things up, I just wanted to kind of talk about landing pages. They are important, but maybe not for the reasons that you might think. They're important to keep your quality score up and make sure that you've got good quality content on there that's relevant to your campaign or your campaign ad group or specific keywords. Ideally, you don't want visitors landing there. You want them going through the call. And so what that does is make that IVR that much more important. So your IVR is the landing page, and every publisher on RingPartner has access to create their own call promo, and we can work with you to set up a recording. But that IVR is the chance to warm up and pre-sell the caller before sending them on to the advertiser. And you want to make sure that you're not linking to external sites on your landing page. You don't want to get nailed for being a thin affiliate. You want to make sure you're only placing phone numbers and all your links go to the same domain that you're using. We like to use a service called Unbounce, and if you use, I believe the promo code is RingPartner, when you sign up, you'll get a discounted rate, but you can ask your distribution manager about that. And make sure the content is unique. It doesn't take a lot to write some quick content, or we like to use a service called Crowd Content, and we can set you up with a discount there as well, and they'll turn around content within a few hours and provide you with some decent content at a reasonable price. And make sure you've got your T's and C's and all your policies on the page. Provide a contact us with an address. And you know, the landing page is all about keeping Google happy and improving your overall performance of your campaign and keeping your CPCs low. So that kind of concludes the webinar, or my section of the webinar, and I look forward to answering some questions, and feel free to reach out to any one of us to talk more about this stuff.
Great. We have a few questions coming in here, and I'll answer those probably offline a little bit. A couple that I just wanted to touch on. Mike, so you're saying that you don't, you track at the campaign level, you don't bother with the individual keywords?
No, I really don't. I mean, I use the Google tracking, which allows you to know which conversions happened on which keyword and which ad group, but I don't get down and look at trying to figure out which exact keywords converted. I look at the overall campaign earnings per click, and then I kind of guess. It's an educated guess on whether that campaign is costing me more or less, because the individual earnings per click on a keyword could be a lot more, but hopefully it's less. But I don't really get too concerned with knowing every aspect of the campaign. If overall it's making money, then I know I'm good to go. And again, I'm optimizing for Google while keeping in mind that I need to be making money as well.
Great. And another one here, can you give your thoughts on the dynamic keyword insertion on landing pages?
Yeah, I mean, you can use that, but again, for mobile search, for pay-per-call, I'm trying not to get people to the landing page. If you're talking about placing keywords for keeping Google happy, I would say hard code those into the page. Unbounce makes it really easy to duplicate those pages, so you can create a domain / chat line and a domain / meet local singles page. Put those in the subdomain, and then put them on the page in a way that still makes sense and provides good content. And you can also consider creating unique IVRs per ad group and inserting that keyword into the IVR, because really, again, your IVR is the landing page.
Great. Can tracking with the Google forwarding number affect the tracking in RingPartner?
It really shouldn't. I don't see how it would. I know that sometimes if the numbers go inactive, that could be an issue if someone's trying to call back, if they wrote down that Google forwarding number. But I don't notice anything, overly significant that I'm concerned about. So I don't think there's a problem there.
Right. So this was definitely focused on AdWords. We will be doing, as you said, some more on Bing in the next few weeks. But for those that are trying on Bing, basically use similar tactics?
Yeah, I would definitely suggest that. We're going to have a webinar early April talking about Bing ads, and we've got a guest speaker for that. I'm not overly familiar with Bing, but this guest speaker will be, and so I think that'll be a really good, really detailed webinar on how to make use of Bing as another option. We're also going to have a webinar likely next Friday on ring pools, and we'll have Sean from Invoca join us for that and talk more about ring pools.
Great. Yeah, I have just a few more general questions, and we'll wrap it up here. Talked about tracking. Do you recommend a third-party system? This is open for both of you, for publishers to be using for tracking, starting out, just as Excel. What do you recommend?
Personally, I don't really see the need for it. I know there's services out there for other affiliate campaigns. When you're using links, you may want to get some deeper tracking info. But as far as mobile search, I don't feel like you need it. I think that you need AdWords Editor, you need Excel, you need AdWords, and you need some of these other keyword tools. Keyword Spy is another good one. I didn't mention that. John kind of brought it up. But that's another good tool for obviously spying on keywords. So.
And if you are using a landing page, say you're not in AdWords, maybe you're running a display campaign for third-party tracking, you can use ring pools to allow pixel tracking. And the most common mobile tracker that I've heard brought up is iMovie Tracks. I know Mob App Tracker is also apparently pretty good. So.
And this one's in regard to dating. Obviously, Google is always making changes back and forth. How safe is dating in AdWords for pay-per-call?
It seems to be pretty safe. I've been running the campaign for over a year now, I believe, so there's not a problem. They do, when you have some sexier, racier keywords or ad text, they will gear it non-family or adult-oriented, so you won't be out there for the general audience. But I don't think that hurts the campaign overall. But do make sure you've got your terms and conditions and your privacy policy on that landing page. Provide a contact us. You're not doing anything black hat here. This is all above board stuff, and it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, great. Well, there's a bunch of questions coming in near the end. We will have to wrap it up for today, but I will get back to everyone that has questions. Just take that offline. So again, thanks to everyone for joining us. Thanks, Mike and John. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Check out our blog. The recording will be there later this week. And again, thanks again for everyone, and contact your account manager if you have any questions at all.